Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. We are extremely happy to see and read all of you. Today's topic is going to be data using Python in data analytics. But before we proceed to the main reason of our event today, I would like to quickly introduce you to Women Who Code. For those who know us, for those who don't know, just to remind you. Please follow us on our social media. Please join our Slack. We are always happy to connect with you. Our goal is to inspire women to excel in technology careers. Women Who Code is a global community with over 200,000 members all over the world from around 200 cities. And in London, we have around 6,000 members. We enforce our code of conduct in our community. The full version of code of conduct is available at womenwhocode.com/code of conduct. But TLDR is please be nice to each other. Our vision is a world where women are representative and as technical executives, VCs, board members, software engineers, and so on. Every time during our event, I would like to emphasize this absolutely magnificent initiative, Upload Her. If you would like to share your success with the community, there is a button at the global website. Please share your news. We are always extremely happy to read it. And this is going to be shown at our network page. And also some of the messages, they go out in ML distribution list to all of the subscribers. And as always, I would like to remind everyone that we are extremely happy to welcome volunteers. We need technical leads who can supervise specific directions, supervise events on a particular topic, help with mentorship, I don't know, like advice books and so on. We need evangelists who could help us with our social media strategies. We need project managers who can supervise one-off events. And we always need episodic volunteers. Right now, during this lockdown, we mostly need designers to help us with designing posters for the events. But generally, once we go back offline, we also need people to help with logistics, with like registration desk, and so on. So if you would like to get involved, please do reach out. We are extremely happy every time when you do it. And yeah, dear women, we need you. Thank you all very much. And before we proceed, if you don't mind, I would like to ask you all to open your webcams so I could take a screenshot. I absolutely love taking like family photos at our events, just like to remember the event. But as we are in these conditions, the screenshot is going to cover our needs. Okay, please smile. Thank you all very much. And I am passing the imaginary microphone to our speaker today, Galyna Tabunshchyk, who is a professor at Software Tools Department in actually the university where I studied at in Zaporizhia, Ukraine, Zaporizhia Polytechnica. Thank you very much. Galyna, you can share your screen. And yeah, if you have any questions, please either raise your hand in the chat or drop a message, and we are going to like put them together, batch them together, and Galyna could answer them like a few at a time. Thank you.
So I am very happy to have this opportunity to share my experience, and I hope this will be very useful for you in future. So today I would like, today we're starting 4 workshops in Python for data analytics. And as I was already introduced, I'm working in university, the Paris Polytechnic, in software tools department. Our general plan for these 4 workshops will be following. First, today I will tell you shortly about myself, give a short introduction into data analytics and Python basics. Then, next Thursday, we will try to do first data manipulation with numpy and visualization with matplot, and then switch into pandas and analytics with pandas. The final 4th workshop will be devoted more for predictive modeling with the scikit-learn. About myself, I am teaching mostly courses which deals with object-oriented programming, designing, modeling, and also software and hardware quality engineering. I am dealing with international, I am working as international coordinator in my university, and we have a wide network in Europe where we shared our knowledge, and students could do internationalization within our universities and as well as home. And I also have my small research team with the topics which are dealing more with the verification and reliability and working with a PhD student. As I already introduced myself, I would like you a little introduce yourself. Please go to Mentimeter. One moment. And you can see in the top of the screen, there is the website mentim.com, where you should put your code, and then we could see that it's allowed to make multiply answers. There are still some room for answering. And how many people we have here? 34. So still only 18 answered. Maybe let's give some time for some people more. You can see. I'm very happy to see that you really need this course, and I hope very much that you will feel that it is useful. And please give me an answer for the second question.
I feel like I'm messing up with the questionnaire. That blue column is me.
So generally, as you have read already in advertising, yes, these workshops are beginners friendly. This means that we are starting from the beginning and trying to have skills in Python programming, and that's why I started a little nervous that someone very professional in Python here. Helen called me, and I hope that we will work together effectively. Thank you very much for your answers, and let's go further. Helen already told me that I've already sent those who registered information about Google Classroom. Why I created this Google Classroom? Generally, as most of you already have some skills in programming, you know that programming is like reading. More you program, more code you write, more skillful you are, and there are no any other way. That's why for each workshop I will add here tasks which we will do within this workshop, and I will within the week between the workshops I will check it. Yes, so here we could discuss. If you have questions, you could send it here, which are deals with tasks. And this is so this is our classroom. For those who hadn't joined yet, please, you should go to Google Classroom. Here you see, and select join the course, and here this code I will also send you now here in chat. Helen already did it. Okay. So here I see those who are registered. Yes.
Galyna, sorry for interrupting. I think you stopped presenting.
Okay. Yes. So
Yep, all good.
It's okay now.
Yeah, all good. Thank you.
Okay, so here you see here is presentation. It's already uploaded here because the best case if you follow my presentation and try the code I'm giving as examples. Yes, so the best book, yes, the best website, the best resource in programming language, it's resource which contains examples, and that's why more examples you try it yourself, more skillful you are. And we don't have a lot of time. Yes, we have only 2 hours for workshop. That's why I already put here, you see this presentation for today, and following my presentation, I highly recommend you to copy paste the code and try to see if it works. Then you could, if not, you can further ask me a question, and maybe we could try to solve these problems. Within the presentation, I will tell this is the task 1, this is the task 2, the task 3, and we will try to, so you will be given some time from like 5 to 7 minutes to try to solve this task. But okay, don't be afraid. You shouldn't do it right now if you can't. So I will check it within all week between today and next workshop. And if you have questions, you could also make comments here, and I will answer you within the week. As I'm already on holidays in university, I have some time for this communication. Do you have any question about Google Classroom or something? What is in chat? Okay, so let's go further. The topic of the workshop is Python for data analytics. Why for data analytics? Because generally Python is programming language which could help us to solve different tasks. The question is that nowadays there are more open source data around us. Yes, so all is talking about big data and how to extract this data, how to get knowledge from this data, because data is not knowledge. Yes, and we most of all need knowledge. We want to make prediction, we want to make some conclusion. That's why we need some tools which could help us to transformate data into knowledge. This could help us this data analysis process. Data analysis process, it's the process of transformation data into knowledge, and this is in general from the moment of problem definition to the moment of problem definition to the solution. There are 6 steps which we should pass. First, data extraction. Next, data preparation. Then we switch into data exploitation and visualization. The most interesting for us, it is construction predictive models. After we construct our model, we should validate it if it is suitable for our real world, and in the end we want to deploy it, yes, to use data from everyday life for prediction. The first stage, problem definition, is the most important. At this stage, problem definition, we are transfer business goals into data analysis task. First of all, we are trying to answer so-called 5 who, 5W, who, when, why, where. Yes, so what is the business goals? What are our expectations? Or what business will benefit from this analysis? After it, when you answer these 5 questions, we go into phase to the second phase, where we are trying to state the problem already in data analysis goal. After it, when we make our hypothesis, yes, we are trying to make the frame for the problem statement. And when we write, so the main, you should write that what I will benefit from the analysis of this data, yes, and what will be advantage. Then we should plan our data analysis, yes, further 7 steps. First, what we need, it is data extraction. This is what we are doing with Python, what we could do with Python. There are a lot of open source data, cloud-based data, and located somewhere stored in databases, which you could extract with the help of libraries such as numpy, such as numpy and pandas, and then you transform this data into the table or other way. So in the way which could be possible to use for further data analysis. At this stage, it is very important to make this code book. So when you extract data from somewhere from the net, yes, you should understand what data you extract, yes.
Oh, you're frozen.
Hello folks, my name is Sue Shardlow. I'm one of the co-directors here at Women Who Code London. I'll just try and contact Helen and find out what's going on. Thanks for bearing with.
Hi, are you here?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, very nice. When I stopped, when I was thrown the Zoom, at what stage?
I think you were just going into phase 2 after the who, what, why, where, when.
Here at problem definition I was.
I think so, yeah.
Ah, you can't see my screen, yes?
No, we can't see your screen.
Uh-huh. One moment. Now you can see my screen?
Yeah, it's all good, thank you.
Uh-huh, thank you, because I was surprised when I was just like thrown away from Zoom.
No worries, no worries.
So I stopped here.
Yep.
Problem definition, yes. This is generally, you can see also in the slide, if I took some information from other resources, on each slide I put the link to these resources. This will be also useful from you if you like missed something or like language problems or misunderstanding. So yes, you can go to the source and read it there. Yes, like in the below in the bottom of the slide, there is like link to the resource where you could read like more how to make these business goals and how to transfer it into data analysis. So the main task of this stage, yes, of the problem definition, is to state the business goal and business benefits and transfer it into data analytics goal. So you should make your hypothesis. Yes, so what you want to improve, with what and what result you want to have, and what you will benefit from this result. After you frame the problem statement, so generally you should write it as your goal, and then you should go to the planning of your data analysis. At the stage of problem definitions, we are not using any programming languages. We start using any programming languages, Python or something, at the stage of data extraction. Nowadays, a lot of data are located somewhere in the web, yes? So there are a lot of open data which you can use to practice your skills. And for these purposes, already Python and its libraries like numpy, pandas could help you to import data and to go to the other stage to prepare it. So generally, when you import raw unstructured data, you need to make a transformation. You need to transfer it into table. You should, for all your data, you should prepare this code book. Generally, it's requires time, and you think that it's waste of time, but it's not so. It will waste of time when in some time you would like to return to your research or to make some other analysis, and then you will not don't remember which column, which data contains, how it was transferred, or so yes, what we used there. Also, at this stage, we can use such libraries as pandas for normalizing, or scikit-learn as well. So for normalizing or like dealing with missing values. Matplotlib is a very good tool for visualization. Yes, so we could use numpy for summarizing and grouping data. Yes, to make correlation tables, yes, and visualize it with matplotlib. And next stage, very important, generally the main task of data analysis is to create models which you could use for prediction or classification. Yes, so it depends which tasks, which goal business put for you. Before you deploy your model into real life, you should validate it. What this means? This means that you have data and you construct model for it. Generally, the best way is to divide your sample, your data, into two sets, small. One set you will use as training set for developing your model, and the second part, test set, you could try for validation. If your model will give error which are suitable for your purpose, then you tell that, okay, the data is, your model pass validation, and you could use it already in practice. So this is shortly for data analytics, because there are a lot of tools, a lot of methods, a lot of algorithms for data analysis. It's not the topic of this workshop. The topic is that we want to use Python, which already have numerous of libraries which could help you to provide this analysis. And we would like to understand the code of Python, to write your personal code, and in future use already developed libraries or modify them for your purposes. What are the topics of today's lecture? Is that first, we will look through Python development platforms, and next we will switch into Python basic types and learn the first the style of programming in Python. Look through the types such as list, tuples, sets, and dictionaries. They are very unique for Python. Try to write your function and to have just like general overview into classes. Why it is very important? Because in Python, all types are objects. Generally, Python is object-oriented language, and all types are classes, and each variable you create is objects, and that's why this is very important, just to have general overview for the what is object-oriented programming. We will not go in depth there. There are two versions of Python, Python 2 and Python 3. They are developing parallel, and we will use in our workshops Python 3. Yes. From the history, Python 2 was developed, the first release, not developed. The first release was in 2000, and Python 3 first release was in 2008. As they have slightly different syntax, and it's not very comfortable to use to switch in between. Both versions are supported simultaneously. So you have all libraries for both versions. just like to stress, we will use Python 3 further. And next, why Python? Generally, Python was created as a language for web application, and that's why it was very comfortable. But you could see this is Python package index, which is a very comfortable. Seems I try to move. So, which is a repository for Python programming language, which contains numbers of different tools. So with Python, you could do all different stages, so all different tasks, from verification of the hardware to the web applications. And all these libraries are also and it has additional scientific libraries, modules, so-called modules here, which you could use for data analysis. Next, you should always remember that in the Python is using Python virtual machine, and the nature of Python is interpreter. This means that to run your Python program, you should have this interpreter installed in your computer. The code which you wrote in Python, then divide it into token. Interpreter built tree, logical tree, and convert it into bytecode, which is running on Python virtual machine. Which advantage it gives us? It gives us that Python is a cross-platform language, and this is one of the greatest advantage of such approach. Which interpreter we will use? First of all, you should, for today, simple Python integrated development environment will be quite okay. You could go through the link and download the latest version. You see, the latest version was 3.83. Yes, and I'm using the 6th version. For our today task, it's not really the problem. Also, you can use Anaconda Navigator. Anaconda Navigator is very comfortable because it contains several tools which you could launch at your computer. It's also cross-platform, and the most interesting is that you could use or Jupyter. It is a web interface for Python, or like Spider, and all this already contains installed numpy pandas libraries. Yes, this is how Jupyter is looking like. Yes, why Jupyter is important for those who are working with IBM Watson, for example, solutions. You can see that they have already installed Jupyter Notepad, and inside their IBM Watson Studio. That's why I'm giving for you all possibilities, so you can use any for our workshops. Most of all, those which are more important for your future career. I like most of all PyCharm. It's very comfortable for my opinion, but in any case, you should first install Python integrated development environment 3, and then you should install PyCharm and use it as the main interpreter. I will show you in a moment. And if you want to download it for free, please look, you should install community, PyCharm community, because PyCharm commercial, there is only a free trial for 30 days. Any questions at this stage? You're all here? No questions? You all know how to start? It's great. Then we will go for Python. Python is programming language, and it contains it gives you possibility, and it's most easier to start with solving some operations. And of course, Python contains with all standard types, you could do all standard operations: arithmetic operations, logical operations, bitwise operation, relational operations, membership operation, assignment, and identity. How it looks like. Yes, so we're talking about basic types such as integer, float, and complex. Here you see, this is examples on this slide. You can see examples of arithmetic operations. This is symbols for bitwise operations. The same as as I remember, okay, something like 27% already have experience in other language. You can see that comparison operations are the same as in other programming languages. Yes, greater than, less than, equal to. The same as those who are working with C++, you can see that assignment operations, yes, which allows to assign some value to the variable, are the same as in C++, mostly the same as C++. And additionally to the standard types such as integer, numeric types, integer, float, and missed, and complex. There is a string type in Python. Strings, for strings we could use as single quote, as double quote, and generally it is very comfortable. If you want to use to need the quotes inside, you just like in a single quote use inside double, and etc. Triple quotes are used for comment. So let's try to write our first Python code. What we should know, first of all, let's just not like in any other language. When you want to start to write Python code, you just like start to write Python code. For this, you have variables. Variables is where your data, you save your data. And you have your code. Yes, your operations one by one. Variables. As I already told you, we have three numeric types and standard basic types. And we have string type. You shouldn't make any announcement of the types. The type of the variable, so variable is the place where your data is storage. This is variable. This is value. Here we assign, so we put this value and to save it in our variables. The type is assigned at the moment when you assign a value to the variable. Here you can see like example. So this will be, name will be a string, number will be integer, and this will be a float. We could use standard function to convert your values into the type which we need. This, you can see these functions has the name of our types. To put data into memory, yes, we are using two possibilities. Assignment, yes, we assign value to our variable, or can you input it from your console. So to input variable value, we're using a function input. Each function has name, and in the round brackets you could put like input string, which will be written in the console. You should always remember that our console has text type. So if you are not putting anything else, the value which you will input from the console will be text value. To transform it into the type you need, you should make this transformation to your type. And to write something to the output console, we are using print. Let's try it with what we could try it. Just like, sorry. So if you installed, now you could see, yes, for example, I have installed Python shell version 3.7.3, and I could write my Python code directly in this shell, something like I could print here, yes, from my slide. And you see that here you see the result. So what I ask transform value to .5 into integer value and print the result. This is sometimes comfortable, sometimes not. And that's why better to create your code within files. You create file, new file, and write your code here. Just like look here. I just want to show you that all examples are working. You could make like this one to make it just like more quick. Yes. The next step, you should save your Python file. And so I put Control S, so you could make a file, save as, or save. And I'm using shortcuts, and then run your module. The results will be visible in the Python shell. Yes. Now I have prompt input value. I put 4. And I told you before that if you don't make any transformation, your input value will be string. And you see, we have in the end repetition instead of multiplication. It's 5 times repeat my value 4. Now I input 4, but here I used transformation into integer. So my variable num is integer now, and the result is multiplication. There is some questions. Okay, it's about task. In few moments I will show you. Okay, let's go further. It's the road. The main important things in our road is a competition. Yes, how to run this competition with other companies, with other programming languages, is to create some code which could be reusable. Yes, so you create this code and other can reuse it for their purposes. This is done with modules in Python. So a lot of modules already developed, and you could use variables and functions from these modules. So to use modules, you can use keyword import, and then you should put module name. For example, if our module is math, we could import math. If we want to import only some variables or some classes or some functions, we put this string that from name of the module we import what we need. It could be a function name, like in this example, from module math we want to import our constant p. So this is, we come to our first task. This is first task is located in Google Classroom. Here, you see, here it's duplicated from the presentation. You asked to write your first Python program which could compute area of the circle. You should input from console the radius and calculate the area. And the second, your file which you should create, it's program which allows you to input first and last name and output it in reverse order. Let's have 5 minutes for it. I'm waiting your, you see, now is nobody turned in, and I could check if you have any questions. And Yes, I will grade it. Now you could ask questions if you are trying to solve it, and it's impossible. So now I just like giving you 5 minutes to try. They are not very difficult. You shouldn't like upload it. So just like both tasks, you could upload one task, and we could see if it works. So generally, I already have to give you a hint what I'm expecting from you. And this is how the code for radios is looking like. I will help you with this first program. So from module math, we import constant p, and we are using it for our calculations. What we have in my example, yes, p square of the radius. This is the result, and here it is converted into string. Also, in this example, we are using concatenation, yes? So I would like to print big long string which contains string value of radius, string, and the area. Let's see. You see, I hadn't saved it. First, I am asked to input the radius, and then so all values of radius, all values, radius and area converted into string and all concatenated into one big string. I also forgot to show you a very important tool because I was delighted when I found it many years ago. It's a Python tutor.
Meanwhile, there is a question in the chat about the second task, second question in the first task. Should we reverse the string or just print last name, space, and then first name?
They could use any, they could use any solution. Generally, they should input string first, or like separate values, variables as well. So first name, last name, and put it in the reverse. I can't. A tutorial. I want tutor. Python Tutor, it's a web tool developed by MIT to visualize and trace your Python code. I suppose it's the best thing I ever saw for the learning. So when you learn new language and try to understand how it looks, how it works, for me it's the best. So let's copy paste our example here and look how it will look like. You see here it is divided into two parts. In the left part you see your code. In the right part you see how it is proceeded with interpreter. Yes, how it is divided into frames and objects. So let's see. First of all, in global frame we import from math library. You see variable with a numpy, and it has already value here. Next, you see with the red here here we could input our value of our radius, submit, and there was created variable float type, and the value I input from the console, yes, is assigned to this variable. And in the output, there is printed our string. The area of the circle with radius 5 is our value. So generally, for the second task, there could be at least, my students, I already saw 5 different solutions. Always like when students, so when you are creative, that's why I never make this more concrete. So what you should use, list, string, separate values, it depends on you. It's up to you what you want to practice here. You forget constant. You forget your formula. So this was the first thing. So we have linear flow of our code. If we need to make some conditions, as in any other languages, we have a condition statement. Yes, we have if statement. So if our condition is true, there will be some flow. If it is wrong and we have statement else, there will be other flow. In many languages, block of code is separated with these figure brackets. In Python, we don't have anything. The way how the block of code is separated is called indentation. So, and this is spaces, the same for all indentation, which make you to separate block of code. So, if our x equal to y, then there will be running block 1. Else, if x less than y, then will be block 2. And in other case, there will be block 3. And inside block 1, we have internal block. So this print will be only if y is not 0. Let's run it. Copy faster. Let's go through Python tutor. No, not through Python tutor. I would like to show you other thing. One moment. Indentation, it's the main problem of beginners. what you could do if you still lost, you could use the help from your development environment. So each has help. Yes, it help you to ident region. So if I know that this will be all these lines of code should be block for the first if, I ask to ident this region, and you see it indented for me. But this print will be block for this if, and I ask to ident this region. This print, this is the one flow if, and else. They are one level. So that's why I ident this region and ident this region. You see, if you are not, so if you are doubting and can't manage yourself with this indentation from the first time, you can use this tool. It's very helpful. And then you just like run your code. Yes. And it works. Yes. Here. So this is my recommendations. If you are new to Python, use this help from your environment. Each of it has it, and it will be much easier for you to find your mistakes. Question in chat.
That's me commenting that I like Python being the first language because it kind of forces you to write your code in an organized manner. Because when you have cheats as braces, you can write everything in one line, and then it's unreadable.
Yes, this is true. So let's continue. Also, great advantage of Python is its built-in types, such as tuples, lists, sets, and dictionaries. Let's look one by one, which, meanwhile, sorry, if we'll go to Google Classroom, already 2 people turned in previous work, look task 2 and task 3. It will be, we will work with it after this. Okay. So let's switch. List, tuples, sets, and so this is types. This is types of variables. How they differs and when we use each of these types. First, lists. Lists. I'm here. Just a moment. Here, lists. You should remember that lists is an ordered sequence of information. Mainly, it is all elements. It's not like obligatory, but it's normally that all elements of the list are the same type. And the other things that lists are mutable, so you could change them. So list, when you create a list, you use square bracket, elements located in this brackets. So this is variable. This is a value. So this is item of the list. Yes. So each item generally it could be mixed types, but generally it's the same types, and you could change the items number of items and the value of items of your list. Tuple. From the first side, this site, from the first side, it's just like the same. It's an ordered sequence of element, but tuples contains the main difference. When you use tuples, you generally use mixed element types, and the tuples are immutable. Tuples, to create tuple, you use a round bracket, yes, like here, and each item, this is item, you see, each item, this is numeric, this is string, has different types. We will look one by one and look at them. So first, we will look through the lists. There are numbers of operations additional to those to the standard operations, such as arithmetic comparison, bitwise, which we can use with it. For example, membership. In is checking if element is in the list. We could iterate list, so this means we will look each element one by one. We could select required element by index. We could make a subset, so sublist select from our list, yes, and compare lists. We could calculate the length of the list. We could concatenate lists. We could use arithmetic operations, yes, which like with the result will be repetition with the list, and we could use already functions with our list to calculate minimum value, maximum value, to add element to the list append, to count how often item occurred in the list, or extend our list. Let's look at it one by one. So list, it's an ordered element, yes, list of element. Each item, this is our item or element, has value and index. And our index is counting from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But the general length of our list, so number of items, are 5. This is length of our list. What is very interesting for Python, that when you are working with this arrays, yes, lists, then numpy, multidimensional array, and further with pandas, you could use as positive index, as negative index. So we use index to get access to the value of the list, of the element of the list. Let's quickly look how it could be. So you see, I created list. I could use, I want to know, sorry. What is the value of 9th element? Am I correct? How many elements I have in this list? I have 5 elements, yes, so I can't get access to the 9th element. So I can have, for example, third element. I have already making typo. Okay. Yes, the third element 0, 1, 2, 3 is the value is 4. If I will put -2, I have the same element, yes, so -1, -2. We could select sublist from our list. For this, we are using slicing. When we want to select the sublist, we put inside our brackets begin, end. So if we want from the beginning, so if we want to list all values, we could use this syntax. But if we want to list from the beginning to the final any value index, then we could put this, or from like to the end. Let's see how it works. So we have our list, and I asked to select to the 6th element. Yes, so we have our list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7. So from 0 to the 6th, so this will be selected here. Here I put that I should make this sublist from the 3rd element. Yes, I started from here to the end. Here I asked from 2nd to the 7th. Yes, we have the result. And here I want to start from -3. -1, -2, -3. Yes, to the end. And here from the beginning to the -3. So this is index. This is values. If we want to look each element one by one, we're using iterating through the list. For example, on the slide here is example how to create how to calculate yourself sum of element of the list. So if we iterate, let's look here. So we have our list. And we want to calculate the sum of this element. So we should have variable where will be our sum. We know that yes, when we're trying to calculate its sum, we put the start value 0. If we want to calculate multiplication, we put starting value 1. And then one by one, we are going through our list. This I want to show you in Python tutor. Let's go. It's interesting to see. So, forgot very important thing. So let's look step by step. First step, we create a global frame list, length of which 4 element. Yes, the value of our element 3, 4, 5, 6. Index of this element 0, 1, 2, 3. We create a variable total and assign it value 0. And then we are iterating element in the list. So each step, our E is taking value from our list until it's come to the end of the list. So first, you see our E is our 3, and we assign it to our total sum. Now we are at the second element, at the first element, and our value is 4. Then we're calculating our sum, and step by step, so we come to the end of the list and we print the result. This is very interesting possibility. But what we will have if our code will be this one? Let's change our code later. So let's memorize that len is number of elements in the list. So in this case, what we will have, our E is our index. Yes, so len is the length of our list. It's 5. Oh no, here is it's small. So sorry, it's 4 element. And while E is less than 4, it's increased 1 by 1, and it's not the element value, it's element index we have here. Yes, so we have 0, 1, 2, 3, and in the end it's incorrect sum. Yes, we don't want to make the sum of index. What could we do here? Here we could, for example, change our code in this way. Also, it's not a very nice code for Python, but it will also work. Yes, so we have our index, and we get access to the element with our index. Yes, now we have E contains value of the index, but we calculate the right sum. Yes, now we have perfect result here. As already discussed, we could use concatenations for our lists. Yes, so in this case, we will have a new list which has joined our 2 other lists. We could add a new element to the list using the methods append or extend. Append, add the element to the end of the list. Or extend, yes, it's also append our 2 elements to our list. Yes, here we're using this list for the beginning. So this is very important. Our lists are mutable. You could change the number of elements, you could change the value of elements of the list, and you could add these elements and you could delete our elements from the list. To delete elements from the list, you could use three different possibilities. Yes, you could use method remove. You ask to remove value, yes, from the list. If there are several same values, they will be deleted, the first one which will meet. Also, you could delete the element with index from the list, or you could delete the last element from the list with the method pop. So three different possibilities to delete element from the list. So I see there are a lot of questions.
It's mostly me again chatting.
Okay.
With myself.
Okay. So let's continue. So here you can see example with Jupyter. Yes. There is examples of using other methods. For example, index, yes, will return you the index of value 8. You could calculate, yes, so here is one. You could calculate how many times there is value 8 in your list. It's twice, yes, right here. There is, you could sort your list and you can see the result that all elements were sorted. And you could print your list in the reverse order. This is the result. Tuples. As I already told, from the first glance, tuples just the same as the list. We just like use other brackets, but the main two differences. So yes, you can see, you can work like it's ordered elements. Yes, you can get access to the element by index. You can cut your index, use a repetition, use membership. What is the difference? The difference is that first of all, the main idea that tuples should contain the elements of different types. And the other is that all the tuples are immutable. So when you are using concatenations, or repetition, or anything else which creates new, you are creating a new tuple. You are not modifying existing. The only situation when you could modify existing tuple, if like in this case, you see our item of tuple, this is item, and this item is list, and lists are mutable. This means that this list could be changed, yes? So from this point of view, you could change if tuple item is mutable, you could change it. So at these examples, what we see, we create empty tuple, we create tuple of from the elements of the same type, we're creating tuple from elements of other types, we're creating a tuple, yes, which contains list and tuple, yes, and you could see that we could create tuple and parcel the tuple in this way. So this is also very comfortable if you need it. For example, in the second task, you will need to count vowels in in your sentence. For this task, it could be more comfortable if you will create your vowels as a tuple, for example. Yes, and then check if element is within the tuple. So, as I already told you, in this case and in this case, the result is a new tuple. So we're not changing existing, we are creating new. The same as with list, we can use count, yes, to calculate. We could use membership in to check if element is in our tuple. The other type is set. Set is a collection of unordered items. But what is the main important part? The thing is that there should be no duplicates. And sets are mutable. You could create, you can see examples. So sets creates with this figure brackets inside, yes. Sets could be homogeneous, or it could contain elements of different types. You could add element to your set, and you see your set would be, so it is an ordered set of elements. Yes, you could remove element from the list. And the main idea when it was created this type in Python is to provide possibility to work with sets as in math, yes. So you could use as operation as functions for union, for difference, for intersection, and for symmetric difference, yes. So both possibilities exist. When you are working, try to calculate difference, be very careful with the values, yes. For others, it's not so critical. Dictionaries. Dictionaries, it's another type. Dictionaries, it's a new type when each item is a pair of key and value. Dictionaries are set in figure brackets, and each item the same as in lists, tuples, sets, separated with commas, yes. And this is our item or element, yes. This is our key, and this is our value. You could your keys and values shouldn't be the same type. Of course, it says better for the work when it's the same type, yes, and more comfortable. But generally, it could be like different types, like in this example, yes. So first element has key string and value string, and here is key is integer and value is a list. This is also possible, and you could work with it. You could check if element, so you could list, just a moment, here, yes, the result. So you could list all dictionary. You could list, you could set a new value to using the key. You could delete the element with the usage of the key. You could list only keys, or you could check membership. Yes, membership is in or not in. So yes, and we have result false or true. Also, this class contains numbers of variables. Clear, remove all elements from the dictionary. Copy, get items, returns the keys, yes, of the dictionaries. Pop element the same as with the list, yes. So remove the last item, but not last. Remove item with the key. So yes, returns the values. And also we could iterate, sorry, we could iterate our dictionaries or by key or by key or by key and value, yes, and this will give you such nice results. The main conclusion which we have, so in Python we have 4 new types which are not present in other languages: lists, tuples, sets, and dictionaries. When we use each of them, so lists we are using when we have the ordered, so when we have the set of elements of the same type, and our elements should be mutable. Tuples we are using when we have element of different types, and these values shouldn't be changed in future, so tuples are immutable. Sets we are using when we don't need duplicates in our list, yes, and dictionary is when each element is pair, key, and values. This is task 2 in Google Classroom, where this is only this, where I ask you to count number of vowels in the string. To make task 3, this is let's have 5 minutes for task 2 and task 3 for you, if you have just like any questions before we go further. Task 2, it is you have vowels, and you just need to calculate, to count number of all vowels in your string. And task 3, it's a possibility to work with lists. So I ask you to create a list of fruits, yes, so each element is a string value, and then to find if there is an apple there, find the index of an apple, and to count how many times the apple is met in your list. For each task, there is standard method which could help you to do this. Okay, someone turned in. Let's quickly look. So, it's not obligatory to make this assignment. So you're looking, and if elements is in words, yes, you But this, so you just like add one. Nice solution. There could be numerous of solutions, so you shouldn't write the same code. Just like I want to show how I will check it. Yes. If I will have doubts, I will run it. Yes, and then I have your grades, and then someone have problem. If you have problems, you could always write comment here, yes, within the week, Louisa. So this is, yes, like Helen already answered that this is, so we are here to help you to start with this programming language, of course, and you should do it, you should try to do yourself. Generally, for each task, I try to make that I give you hint or solution, already solution within the lecture. You just like, I change prerequisites. Solution already suggested to you. Yes. So the same like with task 3. Very good. While you're trying to write your code, please write it. That's not coming. So not only listening. Let's give you time, just like to write a little, and I will meanwhile show you, like for example, Anaconda Navigator. I have already running, so we're running the navigator. Is it? Here, how it looks like. This is Anaconda Navigator. And here, I suggest you to use, you could use as Jupyter Notebook or Qt console, yes, Qt console, or Spider. These all tools are very comfortable. Just like this one is looking a little different. Yes, so it is a web interface. Here it is like listed some files, yes, and if you want to create new so here you see that all code is divided into cells. And you could run each cell. Yes. Yes, so in Jupyter Notebook, you have your code divided into cells which you could run and change, yes, for your purposes. And some questions. Here is already an answer. Interfere. Could be very nice if you write your code already some. Someone already looked to many. Task 3. It's very comfortable. Yes, if you upload both Python code and screenshot. In this case, it will be easier for me, yes, to see the result. Like here is code small, it's easy to check visually even this way, but further with numpy and pandas, it will be easier to check. I will run any case if I have some doubts. This is what I generally told you. Will I give you that we have method count, index, yes, and membership. This is main operations which we are using with our lists. So let's continue. Functions. So when you have some code which you need to repeat with different data, it is the very good practice to put it in one place and give it one name, and this will be a function. Yes, this is code which is organized under one name, and there could be also returned value. What is my favorite if you're never programming, but I hope that all of you have at home microwave. So a function in programming is like microwave in your home or microwave of your washing machines. So this is what you have. You have a device, microwave. Microwave is doing two operations. It's rotate the plate and it generate a wave. That's all it do. And you put the time, yes? How long it's rotated the plate and generate the wave. So it's do only two operations. So that's why it was constructed a device, microwave, yes, which is doing the two operations, and it was given the name microwave. When you buy your microwave, you put it somewhere in your flat or in the kitchen or anywhere. So you put it anywhere, and you have input values. So why you need microwave? You need to heat your food. So you have your input variable. So you have your food, which you put inside microwave. Then it start working, generate the wave and rotate the plate. And after time finished, you take your return value from your microwave. Always depends if you are lucky and you select the correct time, yes. So, and this is the main idea of function. The same like washing machine. It's a little more complicated, but just like the same. So what is doing our washing machine? It is doing like 4 operations. It's poor water, so it's poor water, it's heat water, it's rotate can inside. Yes, so this is all what it do. Then you have input data. You have your chemicals and you have your dirty clothes, which you put inside your washing machine. And you have output. You have your clean clothes, which you get from your, this is returned, which is returned from your washing machine. So this is the main idea of function. So you have operations which you could use with different data. And then you put it under the same name, this separate part of code. In Python, this keyword, which defines that there will be a function, is keyword def. After it, we have name of the function, like microwave, да? And we have arguments, yes, your food. Then there is body, block of code. So here is for microwave only two operations, yes, rotating plate and the second generating wave. This is what is doing inside, and it returns you the result, yes, your heated food. So this is keyword, after which you put the return value. So the block of code of your function, for it you're also using indentation. Yes, so this is make how Python understand that this is the body of your function when you use indentation. The second thing, here is mistake. Okay, let's the same as with microwave. You can't sit in the sofa in the living room and make your microwave heat your food. You should, when you want to heat your food, you should go to the kitchen. So how Python works? So you put the name of your function in the code. And then Python go to the place where is this function located. It is run step by step. And when it's finished, when it's returned, it returns to your basic flow. Let's look for the example. I create my function. This is our keyword def. The name of my function is my max. So I try to find maximum between two variables. This is name. Here is arguments. I have two arguments, 1, 2. They are separated with comma. This is body of my function. And for this, I'm using indentation. Within the body of my function, I compare my two variables. Yes, they are values. And if the value of I more than G, I return G. what happens when function meet return? The function flow stop and we return to the place where it was called. So if I was more than G, we will return to our main flow. Else, if not, then it will return at this place. So before we can use our function, we should define it. Yes, so first we define our function, our frame of function. Then I input my values and then I call my function. It go here to this line of code, run it, and when it's meet return, it return to the print, and here is printed the value. Let's look in Python tutor how it will work. It's much better. So look, first of all, in the global frame of names, there was created name mymax, and it is said that it will be a function, yes, which takes two arguments, E and G. Then yes, next step, I want to input some value. Yes, it was created variable I and set value 4. Then I get a prompt to input other value. After it, there was created variable G, and there was input value. And at this moment, there was call of function mymax. Let's see what is happening here. You see, there was created local frame. So all our variables are stored somewhere in frames, like Python uses strong frame. So there is global frame, which is visible everywhere for the main flow of the program, and each function has its local frames. So these names which we're using in these local frames are visible only inside these local frames. So there was created two new variables, E and G, and values from global frame was copied here. Then we compare if I more than G, it is not so. We are going to the else condition, and here we should return value of variable G. Here you can see that there was created a new variable for return value, and this return value will be returned here and printed into our output. Generally, as I already told you, as with classes, as with functions, maybe not all of you will create your own one, but you could use already existing. For example, we already used standard predefined functions. So before, by developers, there was created function len. Yes, len, this is the name of the function. L is argument. You shouldn't write it yourself, yes, so it's create the length of your list. Sum, this function will return the sum of elements of the list. This function max will return the maximum value from your list. Minimum will return the minimum value from your list. So these functions were already developed, and it is located in one of the modules. And you are using these names, and when you're using these names, you are calling functions already developed by the developers of the Python language. So this is also summarizing for global and local variables. So what is the difference for global and local variables? So when you are in the room, so look, like for example, you have like 3 bedrooms, yes, flat, or like 2-bedroom flats. So each your room, each your bedroom, it's a local frame, and those sofas, tables, or beds which are located in those bedrooms are local variables. So they are visible only inside this bedroom. And global frame, it's your main flow. So main flow, which contains your functions, which contains your variables for the global flow. And so global variables can be accessed inside of any functions if they are defined before this function. Inside the function, there could be also other function. So there could be a function inside other function. This is called nested functions. And nested functions has a sub-local scope, yes, which is visible only inside, but it is called like non-local, just like to specify them. So in your programs in Python, you have 3 types of variables: global variables, which are visible everywhere; local variables, which are visible only inside local scope; and nested scope, yes, or like non-locals, which are subset more in a local function. And sorry to keep you, but I would like to finish with it because it is very important that we are not going to like create classes or work with them. So you just need to understand that you could create your own personal type, and this personal type is called class. All classes contains attributes and methods. So class, this is type, and all objects. So, and we could create variables of your type. They are called objects. What this means, that each object has attributes which are common for your class. And they all have the same attributes, so the same variables, but each object has its personal value. For example, like on this picture, you see, so we have 6 circles, yes? Each circle has attribute color. So this is all circles, each attribute color. But each circle has its personal value. This is violet, this is green, this is gray, this is yellow, this is blue, this is red. So all objects of the same class has the same number of attributes, and they all have the same behavior. Behavior is defined by methods. All methods are working with attributes, not with something else, and they are divided into two big classes: setters, those which set value to your attributes, and getters, those which tell you, which return the value of your attributes. And in Python, why it is very important, why I want to finish first with it today, that in Python, all variables are objects and all types are classes. So list, integer, string, so, and you can see that L is a class list, I is class integer, and str is class string. So in Python, all variables are objects. And sorry, I forget to put it on the slide. When we want to use methods with our objects, we already also did it, yes? So we can use a variable dot method or variable dot variable. So, okay, let's not use here a variable. Right here, correct, object. What is important? So there are three main components of object-oriented programming. Yes, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. And what is, for my opinion, disadvantage of Python? Maybe someone will argue with me that Python is not support encapsulation completely. So the idea of encapsulation and overriding, so completely ignored here, but not overriding is not the case. So now it's the idea of encapsulation. So there are, if you are working with Java or C++ and you know what is encapsulation, for you it could be a problem, because in Python it's not realized at all. So they not support encapsulation. So you can get access to any attribute and to any method. How we define our classes? The same as everything. We are using keyword class. The body of the class we are using indentation. Yes, and each our attributes is our variables, and our methods is our functions. You can see also, if you are working with other languages, the main difference is the first argument is always pointer to the object. This is pointer to the object. And when you are addressing class variables, you should always use this pointer self. This is obligatory. Also, you can use in this way, but for me, the best way is to use constructor. Constructor in Python is init function, and better to make initialization of class variables inside this construction. This is my favorite example for object-oriented programming is class lamp. Yes, so if we want to define all lamps in the road. Yes, we know that all lamps in the road have the same behavior. So we could all lamps turn on, turn off, and we know, so, and when we turn on the lamp, we change the state of the lamp. Yes, so this is attribute. So also, if we will look at the lamp, we could understand if it turned or if it not. So if we will look at in programming language, we will see that for our state of the lamp, we will have a class variable state, which will indicate us the state of the lamp. And when we turn on our lamp, we turn our state into true. When we turn off, we set our state to false. And when we are interested in what is our current state, we just return the value of our class variable. This is an example of the class. You could try it, and also in Google Classroom, I give you task. If you would like, you could task. Five. In Google Classroom, you already have a class mySample, which has a constructor in it. And in this example, we input element from the console. The task is to modify constructor so that you are not inputting from console, but initialize it with a list. So this is the task to change your constructor. And task 4 is to create function which as input got to the string, and it should count how many times each word meet in this string. So this is the task 4, is to work with function. We could quickly look at the, you are still here, I'm very happy because I'm a little not in time. Let's quickly look through Python tutor into this example. To understand it a little better. So we create a new type, myClass. Yes, and in the global frame, it is created a name myClass, and which contains two functions, constructor in it and function show. Then I'm creating a new object, a new variable, which type is myClass. So at this moment, you see, there was a calling constructor, the function, which is always called when object is creating. And then for our global object, you see here is instance of myClass. There is created two variables, num1 and num2, and set values which we sent as arguments. So after we create our object, yes, you see here is, there was created instance of the class. Each instance, yes, each object contains class variables, and we in constructor set their values. And then I am calling function or method shown. Yes, you see here. And it's print in console. Yes, output console, the values of our object. Our function don't return any value. So, and the code is finished. Before I end, I would like you to go to this Menti matter. And before I let you go, please answer these questions. So this could be also interesting how people are alive still. Here. Okay.
And then could you please remind the code for, oh yeah, it's up there.
Over there.
664009.
Very interesting statistics. First time I see such interesting distribution. Mostly equal. So I'm very happy that you all installed at least something. It would be more comfortable for you for next Thursday when we will work with the numpy and matplotlib to have a PyCharm or Anaconda, because I will show you all examples already in PyCharm. And just like just to get some feedback from you.
I have posted the link to our Slack workspace. Please feel free to join. Both myself and I believe some other members of the Slack workspace would be happy to answer the questions you have to evenly distribute the load.
Meanwhile, I will maybe also attend your Slack, yes, and you could ask me questions as within this Slack or within this Google Classroom within all week. I for you, for your questions. like if you have some troubles with code, please send me your code, your question, and what is not clear. I'm very happy that no one has problem with indentation. For those who have problem with development environment, I would suggest to write me like a question within this classroom, which problem you have, yes, and with what you have installed, because you have saw from previous question that there was like equal distribution. For those who haven't understand how and when to use tuples, lists, and dictionaries, I want you to suggest before the next week, please, you have this presentation available. Each example which I have in presentation, please copy paste in your environment and run it. You could work, you can see that you could work in this shell. So each comment, each line, and like one by one, you could see the result. And for function, maybe next time I will start with it again. If there will be some requests, I hope, Helen, maybe you could trace it. Yes, if I should start once more with functions. Okay. Maybe we could send some questionnaires before the next workshop. Okay. Yes, the problem here that I'm trying to put a lot in one workshop. This is like I was expecting that you have some, at least some knowledge in programming. Of course, if you just like it was your first try in programming, it was very hard for you to follow. Yes, then you should go through additional video materials, how to work, how any programming language is working. And the final, sorry. Yes, you could ask me questions now. Here. And if I will not answer them just now, I could answer them next Thursday. No questions. So thanks a lot for being here with me for 2 hours and even more, and maybe 2 hours and a half. I hope that it was useful for you, and hope to see you next week. Don't forget, if you have any questions, you are free to ask me within this week, and I will help you. I for you.
Thank you very much, Galyna. This has been super useful. I enjoyed it a lot.